Hello everyone, it's me, Team Mario C, and welcome back to another video on Cosmic Sky. Today, we are going to be diving into the first video on the Adventurer Life Path. This is a series focused around guides related to the adventure, but also related to combat and PvP mechanics in general. Today, we are going to be focusing on a very niche but very important aspect of combat, and that is Vanilla Enchantments. Cosmic Sky and Cosmic in general is known for their wide variety of powerful custom enchantments. Those are opened by examining gems in the Gem Forge, but today we are going to talk about the Vanilla Enchants and how useful they are. Normally, you would go to the enchanter and buy random enchantment books, which can reward you a random level of any of the following enchantments. In this video, we are going to test some things, and I am going to try and emphasize the importance of vanilla enchantments, especially max enchantments. If we head on over to these chests, you'll see that I have purchased 2 double chests of armor books and 2 double chests of weapon books. We are going to do a test by going and seeing how powerful one of the best island skills in the game is, namely the increased chance of opening max enchantment books. This is going to be a good thing for me to learn as well, to see actually how much of an increased chance that is. Hopefully 1 dub of each type of book will be a big enough sample size, but we will see, at least for an initial test. We're also going to briefly touch on the Auto Tinkerer. This is an item that can be purchased from the science shop at the beginning of the game. It does cost a whopping 16 science ingots, which is more than 5 hoppers and won't be easy to get, but it does make opening books very convenient. So if you go down the route of early game EXP grinding to make money, I would highly recommend trying to get your hands on one as soon as possible. So, let's talk about why you want these enchants though, because although this game features, as I mentioned, very powerful custom enchants, some of the basic enchants, including Protection, Sharpness and Smite, are also, if not more important than those custom enchants. Specifically, in this game, you have a very disproportionate chance to get max enchants, and I'm going to demonstrate that real quick by just buying some more books. What I'm going to go into in this Auto Tinkerer is I'm going to set this to be only Sharpness 5 and Smite 5 plus. You would think that with 5 levels for those 2 enchants and 2 levels for Fire Aspect, that if it was equally weighted, then 1 in 12 of these books would be Sharpness 5, and similarly 1 in 12 would be Smite 5. That, as we will see momentarily, is just not the case. In fact, let me just demonstrate without any skills how insanely disproportionate it is. Remember, if it was equally weighted, you would expect multiple max books per stack, but 1 stack gave nothing, 2 stacks gave nothing, 3 stacks, 4 stacks gave nothing, 5 stacks gave nothing, 6 stacks of books, and I got only a single Sharpness 5 without access to this / skill. That is absolutely insane. Now though, let's do the more detailed test, and before we do, let me explain the value of protection. For those of you that don't know how the protection enchantment works in normal Minecraft, every level of protection, so if you have protection 3, that's 3 levels, prot 4 is 4 levels, if you have prot 3 on all 4 pieces, that's 12 levels total. Every single one of these levels gives a 4% incoming damage reduction. So if you have a full set of Protection 3 gear, which is going to be your top priority if you're trying to do adventure, you can't really do any adventure grinding properly if you do not at least have full Protection 3, which is 1 below max, as well as a Sharp 4 and Smite 4 sword. That is the bare minimum you should have when trying to do adventure. If you do not have the XP to do that, then you should do other things. You should do extraction, you should simply work on your island until you can get a prot 3 set with Sharp 4 and Smite 4. Do not try and do the adventure. It is not going to be worth your time. But what is the difference then between Prot 3 and Prot 4? Well, you'd think if it's only one additional level across 4 gear pieces, that it's only a 16% damage reduction increase, right? And that sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's actually way more than that. Because these things are like stacking, if you do the maths and figure out what proportion of the base damage is actually kept with full Prot 3 and Prot 4, the actual numbers are 52% of the original damage and 36% of the original damage. Now that might be a 16% difference, but if you divide those relative amounts, yeah, if you do 36 over 52, you'll note that that is only 70%. So while it may seem like upgrading from full Prot 3 to Prot 4 is only like 16% more, the actual math says it's more like 30% less damage, relatively speaking, which is absolutely insane, and the reason why getting Prot 4 is such an important upgrade over Protection 3. Now then, that I have finally explained those enchants, the other thing I should mention is the power of Sharp 5 and Smite 5. Without the Strength Trinket, Sharp 4 and Smite 4 will not even one-shot basic Marauders. However, once you get Sharp 5 and Smite 5, especially if you combine that with a Strength Trinket, though I'm not 100% sure, we're going to do the test. The important thing though is that you want to get a weapon, or a strong enough weapon, either with or without a Strength Trinket, that you can one-shot basic mobs, because those are also the only kinds of mobs you will encounter at the beginning of the game. Now then, let's finally do this test. I'm going to take out all of these armor books and I'm going to set it to only Prot 4s. We're going to do the no skills chest first, and I am going to quickly run through all of these books and see how many we get. So in 54 stacks, I got 10 Prot 4 books. That's almost 1 in every 5 stacks. And that could be lucky. You know what I'm going to do? I actually don't think that was a big enough sample size. So I am going to open all of these books, and we are going to do a one in, like how many ever stacks 2 dubs is. We're going to compare it to that, okay? Absolutely insane rates, bro. What is this? Look at these rates. Stack after stack after stack gives me absolutely nothing. This is why I wanted to do the stack. I knew a single dub was not going to be enough of a sample size for how low the odds are without the skill. So, oh wow. So we managed to get 10, 15. Let's do the maths. 15 Prot 4 books in 108 stacks of armor books. Divide that by 15. That's 1 in every 7.2 stacks. Now, obviously, even with this number, that is absolutely absurd. Yeah, no, that's insane. That is actually insane. So I'm going to write a little oak sign. We got 15 Prot 4s in 2 dubs / 108 stacks of armor books. Incredibly low rates, right? That's going to be our benchmark, our 2 dubs. Now we're going to do same thing, but for weapon. Remember that there are now 2 potential books that I can get completely maxed out, both Smite 5 and Sharp 5. Absolutely insane. 1 dub down. Let's continue to go with the second dub without any / skills. Remember that without the Auto Tinkerer, this would have taken me probably an hour. So it is a very worthwhile investment if you are going to be spending anywhere near this length of time opening books. Right, let's do the maths. There was, unsurprisingly, a little bit of variation, but in another 2 dubs, we managed to get 18 Smite 5s and only 14 Sharp 4s. We have now put away all of the protections and other max enchants while I didn't have the skills. Now that we've done this test, we've checked we've got 15 Prot 4s in 2 dubs, and we've got a mix 18 Smite 5s and only 14 Sharp 5s. Seems similar to the weighting of these. I think the natural variation there makes sense. absolutely insane. Now what we're going to do is we're going to claim our skills. We now have an increased chance of opening max enchant books. The question is how much that is actually increased. So I'm going to buy another 2 dubs of each type of book, and then we are going to continue with this experiment. Okay, all of the books have been purchased. It's time to run the test again. This time we're going to start with armor once more. There's already a very, very noticeable increase in the number of protection 4 books that we're getting with this skill. Wow. The difference is night and day. Let us go ahead and move all of these protection books over and discuss our findings. After opening another 2 dubs, we have now managed to collect a whopping 44 protection 4 books. I am not one to say hard things about the numbers in this game, but based on a reasonable-ish sample size of 2 dubs of books, we can see that the so-called increased chance of opening max enchantment books is not just an increase, it is practically a tripling of the odds. What an incredible improvement. I mean, the 2 chests just speak for themselves. We're going to see if we can replicate that kind of thing with the weapon books, but for this we can confidently say 44 prot 4s in 2 dubs / 108 dax. Truly, I knew that this skill was good, but I did not know quite how insanely powered it was. Right, time to open weapon. I have a feeling that I'm at risk of running out of inventory space while I open these stacks. Guys, I wasn't... Okay. That was meant to be a bit of a joke. It wasn't a joke. Jesus. Oh my god. This is getting ridiculous. This is already ridiculous. Eh? 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 What is this? I've opened... Guys. I've opened 1 dub. It's already 2.5 times more, and I've opened half as much. The sharpness, more realistic, absolutely absurd. I'm noticing something that only slightly showed up in the original opening of weapon books, that I think there is a disproportionate amount of smites compared to sharpnesses. This is kind of probably obvious to some people that have played this game for a while, and I think if I had to say, I probably would have said that this was a part of the game, but just during this opening, it's never been more apparent. Yeah, with the original test, the difference in number of Smite 5 books could have been not significantly, statistically significant, but that theory has well and truly been smashed by this opening. Okay guys, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I don't know how this works. We got 18 Smite 5 books in 2 dubs of weapon books when we were opening before. And we opened another 2 dubs with this skill, and we got 5 times as many. 18 here, 5 times 18 here. We got actually more than 5 times. 54, 36, 37. Absolutely insane. We were probably like 0.8, between 0.8 and 0.9 Smite 5 books per stack. And then sharpnesses. Sharpnesses is more realistic. We had 14 here. And then on the second opening we had 18, 36, 51. 14 divided by 51. 51 divided by 14. 51 divided by 14 is 3.6. Somehow, the triple in the Prot 4 books is probably a low ball. If I run this experiment again, I might get more Prot 4. Oh my god. It might not be 3 times better, it might actually be 4 times better. This is insane. Hopefully I have reinforced in this video sufficiently the value of these books. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a Smite 5, take a Sharp 5, and take 4 Prot 4s out of this. Yeah, I mean, we've seen the numbers. We don't need to know anymore. The difference is humongous. We're also going to grab some kind of a weapon, and we're just going to go quickly into the abandoned ruins and fight some basic mobs. We're going to come on over here. So you'll note that with Sharp 5, Smite 5, some of these basic mobs can be one-shot. But you also notice that not all of them can. If they have more armor than the others, they might still survive. So I would emphasize that while Sharp 5, Smite 5 is good, especially for captains, where you want to get all the damage you can get your hands on, I would emphasize that even with Sharp 5 and Smite 5, as good as they are, and they are still well complemented by a strength trinket. But nonetheless, that is going to conclude our introduction to adventure. I haven't really talked about the loot or many of the reasons why you would want to do it, but it should be self-explanatory. You kill mobs, you get loot, you use loot to progress, both on your island, in the adventure by improving your set, getting science scrap, flight orbs, spawner shards, all of this in just 2 seconds off the bat. Once you really lock in, you can get an absolute boatload. I would highly advise trying to get a decent supply of food, and you will also notice that sometimes the mob can give you weakness, and in order to counteract the debuff of weakness, you really will want to get your hands on some strength. But just like that, you can continue to grind, continue to get valuable resources, and progress in the game. I would emphasize that you should also be doing extraction at the beginning of next map. However, it is also a good way to find these meteorites, which can be mined with a pickaxe for science. But anyway guys, that's about it again for the introduction to adventure. I hope this deep dive into one of the many aspects of this game mode will help you progress and also tell you the incredible importance of a skill that I knew was strong, but that even I had severely underestimated. A minimum of 3 times as many max enchants, possibly leaning more towards 4 or even 5 times with good RNG. Absolutely insane is all I'll say. Get this as soon as you can. That's all from me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one on my main account, where we will be back explaining many of Cosmic Sky's features, or just doing fun stuff, montages, whatnot, all sorts of things. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!